Well, now that President Trump has closed the border, violent illegal criminal cartels are scattered across the United States of America, living down the streets from our families. That's actually the truth. I know it sounds hard to hear that, oh, that sounds sensational. Well, our next guest is going to tell you that it's not sensational. This is the reality across America, one by one, inch by inch right now. President Trump, Tom Homan are working to arrest and deport each and every one of them. How will they do it? That's the question. Tom Homan just addressed this and said that he's building a massive operation to arrest these criminals. Watch him on that Trader Jake Tapper show. Watch.
Well, we're going to ramp up the number of teams in the interior of the United States. So we're building that teams now. We're going to increase the teams going out. They're coming from various agencies, right? We got about 14,000 officers within ICE between ERO and HSI. We want to pull more of them into this event. Plus, we got other federal agencies. You know, President Trump has all the government on this, so we got ATF, DEA, U.S. Marshals. You know, we got all the DOJ law enforcement entities, plus the State Department. So we're bringing law enforcement officials from all the federal agencies in.
So what does all this look like? How is this all going to come together? Someone knows this better than anyone is J.J. Carroll. He's the author of the book Treason, the Biden administration's strategic and malicious destruction of America's sovereignty. It's a must-read book. Highly recommend that you pick it up. J.J. spent 24 years at the Customs and Border Protection as a supervisor. He knows all about these operations. J.J., welcome back to the show. Great to see you.
Great to see you, too. I wish I was a little taller, not 7 feet tall, but maybe I'll take an inch or two to get up to about the 6'4", 6'5" area.
You are tall. You are tall. When I first met you and we had dinner, I was like, holy smokes, man, this guy's tall. He's gonna hit our ceilings when he walks in here. You wouldn't be able to stand next to Zelensky, that's for sure. So
No.
So you know all about this. So when you see what the president has done on closing the border down, lock down the border, but the sad tragedy of all of this, the sad truth of all of this is that these illegal cartels, we had Ryan Mata on the show yesterday down in Mexico, Tijuana, Mexico. The violence is absolutely catastrophic, bodies everywhere, mass graves. So these gangs are still in the United States, and Tom Homan is having to go around and try to round up these individuals. What does that operation look like, and how dangerous do you think it is right now?
I think it's very dangerous. We have to look at it from a real macro to the old days, I'd say the old days. This was less than 4 years ago. This was before Joe Biden. The Mexican drug cartels turned over their narcotics. I mean, they smuggled it across the border and they gave it to, the white biker gangs, 18th Street gang, the MS-13 gangs here, and gave them the narcotics, and they would transport them, cut them up in the load houses, and then distribute it. Not anymore. The cartels are here in America because of Joe Biden's lax policies and really no policy, no law enforcement deterrent. The cartels moved their apparatuses, their personnel into America. So when we go, quote, into war with the cartels in Mexico, we have to be ready to go to war with them in America. They're just not going to give away $1 trillion business. They're going to fight us. And Tom Homan, let's take the 14,000 officers that he's talking about. Let's say they have to create a team of 10 each. That's 1,400 teams to go after millions upon millions of gang members and cartel and terrorists and PLA soldiers that are in our country. He has got to stop or ramp up from 1,000 deportations a day to 10 to 15,000 a day. If we stay at the same number that he's doing, Clayton, it will take us over 100 years to get these people out of our country.
Holy smokes.
My goodness.
I know, to hear the math, because you hear like, oh, these victories, like 200 people rounded up. That's great.
Yeah. It's just not the volume. And you talk about in your book how people say, well, we need to let some people in. And you give the example of numbers at the end of the book where you're like, well, what is that number? Well, we went past that number, that absurd number already. We got numbers from the Biden administration of how many people we knew, criminals that we had let out. And it was in the tens of thousands, I think is what the Biden administration, including, strangely enough, embezzlement. Like we knew that there were illegal people embezzling. The problem is we know we've got a full-on mafia right now happening. And so not only do we need the manpower, but we need the detective power as well. And so what do we got? What do we got there?
I don't think we have enough. I don't think Tom Homan is, and I'm hearing this from multiple people, he's not fully funded. He does not have the personnel. Why? Well, you have Speaker Johnson as the speaker. He's brought up 5 bills to codify Trump. He's not giving this not giving the money, not giving the manpower to Tom Homan to do the job. Where's the military? Why is the military not involved? There's a lot of questions I have for how this is being played out. It's too slow. This is not my words. These are Tom Homan. Tom Homan is frustrated beyond belief. When you listen to his interviews he's given, they're trying to applaud him with 100,000 arrests, and he actually was just like angry. Like, no, that's not enough, because he knows the numbers as well as I do. I think what is never discussed, Natalie, and it needs to be brought out to the open. We are looking at a time bomb in America. And what is that time bomb? It is a demographic explosion. So you have 50 million illegal aliens in the country, not even disputed. Everyone that's in the business agrees that's the baseline number. 1 in 6 to 1 in 7 residents in America is illegal alien. If we do not remove them, meaning Donald Trump does not get those people out, in 2030, our country changes overnight. Why? Because we have the census. And the experts say when the Democrats are able to get every illegal alien counted, we are going to have almost a 60-seat flip to the Democrats when they do appropriation for congressional seats. And then, here's a kicker on everything else, then the electoral votes will also switch as well, meaning the blue states, the liberal sanctuary states and cities will get more electoral votes, they'll get more appropriated congressional seats, and you will flip the House to 60 seats. And as Elon Musk stated this about a month ago, you will never be able to vote yourself out of this. And this is the absolute plan of the Biden administration, and that is to fundamentally transform America through demographics, through open borders, and they allowed 30 million people in 4 years. That's treason.
So are you encouraged at all by the first of all, stopping the flow into the United States? We don't have a wall built. I see some people in our chat saying, why aren't we building this big, beautiful wall? I don't know where the money is for that, if that's even coming together yet or not. You talk to your Customs and Border Patrol agents and your friends in the industry. What are they saying? Are they encouraged that they've been able to stop the flow of this, to stop the bleeding so we can go and find these people?
Yes, the border shut down. Donald Trump did it in a day. That showed you the lie. This whole thing's a lie. Donald Trump shut it down. I think we're at 99.5% or something like that of the height of Joe Biden's time. The arrests are not happening. I'm talking to my buddies. They're saying it's dead. It's dead. It's back to the, quote, old days, beyond even the old days, meaning when Trump was leaving office and we were arresting 500 people a day. It's almost non-existent. So now, Donald Trump, I give him an A, not an A+ on the border, because the border wall is not finished. There's not enough military down there, but he's crushed it. However, that's not the big problem. The big problem is, what are you going to do about the flood that's in your country? And let me give you an analogy. It's like when you come home and your basement's flooded because the main broke. Well, what do? You shut the main off. Now you have 8 feet of water in your house. Well, you take your giant suction fans and you blow the water out. What we're doing, instead of bringing fans and suction mechanisms to get the water out, we're using red Solo cups and we're dipping it in and dumping it out. That's the analogy of what's happening with the interior arrest. Look, you don't have to like me or my critique. It's a simple math problem. You have 50 million people in America and you're deporting 1,000 to 1,500 a day. Do the math. It's just a math problem. And do you want our nation to remain a nation of our true demographics, or do you want to upset the demographics of America and allow this illegal artificial explosion into our country? Then don't do it. But if you want to save our republic, because this is a national security emergency, if you want to save our republic, then we have to remove the 50 million illegal aliens. And what we're doing now, Clayton and Natalie, is not enough. It's not enough.
What about self-deportations? Because that has, is it working? I mean, is it a drop in the bucket?
Yeah, it's a great question.
The
$1,000 was like $1,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Christy Noam said, look, then you have the hope of coming back. Are we being scary enough, or is these people are too scary in and of themselves, so they wouldn't actually consider this?
Well, I think it's a great question, because you have to separate, right? You have illegal aliens that are raping and pillaging our social systems, our education system, our healthcare system. You guys live in Colorado. Denver healthcare system absolutely obliterated under Joe Biden. So you have that. Then you have the gangsters and the criminal cartels and the PLA soldiers and terrorists. They're not going. You're going to have to extract them out. I write this in my book. But the ones that are, quote, not the criminals, right? The good, hardworking people that are obliterating all of our social welfare, you have to force them to leave, meaning the carrot and the stick. We'll give you $1,000 because Joe Biden lied to you and you had to pay the smuggling fees. We're going to give you $1,000. You can fly home. And if you don't, then I'm going to ban you from ever coming back ever again. We'll put you in a DHA status base and you can't. I like that idea. I think all ideas to get it done needs to be happening. But what's missing, guys? What is missing is that mass roundup. And let me give you an example. A lot of your audience thinks that all the hotels are empty and the shelters are empty of illegal aliens. No, there's hotels and shelters across America where we're still paying for these people to live there in New York City, Chicago, Los Angeles, on and on and on. What if J.J. Carroll was working with Tom Homan and I had 50 National Guard and 50 ICE agents and Border Patrol agents, and I went to the Roosevelt Hotel or I went to a shelter, and at 2 o'clock in the morning I surrounded it, and then I arrested 5,000 illegal aliens and deported them the same day, which can be done. Do you think that would have an impact on the people that are just hemming and hawing and thinking, wow, I wonder if I should stay? Or they're thinking, oh my God, they're going to come to my shelter tonight and they're going to round us up at 2 o'clock in the morning, put us on planes and fly us out of here. There needs to be a shock and awe, and we have not had a shock and awe moment. And I have to ask the question, why not? Why not?
That's a great question. We're pushing for $1 trillion defense budget right now.
Yeah.
To me, and I said this the other day on the show, there's no greater threat to the United States of America than what sits right on our southern border, and now what's inside the United States from that southern border. Inside, not Iran, not Yemen, right here inside the United States, $1 trillion defense budget. I mean, I don't want to ask you numbers here, but I mean, what do you were with the Border Patrol. You were out in the middle of the night at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, rounding these guys up, getting in fights. I mean, unbelievable what you had to go through. If anyone reads your book, they'll know what the horrible stuff you had to deal with. What kind of numbers do you think that Homan would need in order to successfully hire the right amount of people to get this done?
Well, this has to be a force multiplier, and we don't have time to go and hire and train. I don't want a bunch of green guys, like green beaning their newbies running around the country. So what do? You bring the military in, you bring guys like myself. I can name 100 guys like myself that ran task forces, stations, that know how to lead men. And you get us into every state, you give us the resources, and you deputize the sheriffs and the police. And then you put an incentive on the local police and sheriffs. Hey, for every illegal alien you catch, we'll give your budget $200, whatever it is. We'll pay for your manpower. We'll buy you new cars, whatever it is. It needs to be an all hands on deck. And where are those hands? They're in current retirees across all law enforcement, state, local, and federal, but mainly Border Patrol and HSI as your leaders. And then you have military. You just talked about this. We're going to Iran, Yemen. We're talking about all the Middle East all garbage. What about every single day, Clayton and Natalie, I open up my computer and I close my eyes and I go, how many am I going to see today? How many murders? How many rapes? How many child sex trafficking? How many of illegal aliens are destroying Americans every single day? And a former congressman told me the other day, the number of Americans that are murdered and killed every single day in America by illegal aliens has risen to almost 40 a day. You don't think that's a national security emergency? 40 Americans are being murdered and killed, not talking about the rapes and the pedophilia. Every single day I read multiple women raped, multiple children raped, multiple men killed, slaughtered by a drunk driver, on and on and on ad nauseum. How about this? How about just this, Clayton? Why don't we take care of America first? Why isn't that so hard?
Idea.
Why, it's a novel idea. Isn't it amazing how the politicians won't do anything, do nothing to secure the safety of America? Joe Biden and his administration, funded by Speaker Johnson and the House, the Republican House, paid for the destruction of our sovereignty. We are living in chaos right now. And if you think things are going to get easier and better, you're a fool, because it's going to get harder and harder.
Well, I think that's exactly what most of us do think, because we see these X feeds of ICE and we're like, oh, good, they're doing that. I feel a little safer. So what you're saying is it's not time for that yet. We can't feel that.
It's a drop in the bucket, really. Yeah.
Well, think of this. Okay, let's say 30 million people crossed the border. 12 million were determined by the Border Patrol. 500,000 were from Haiti, over 1 million from Venezuela, 200,000 from China. Over 200,000 special interest aliens were arrested and released. The vast majority of everyone that crossed, 60 to 70%, were single adult military-aged men. So every time you see a narcotic arrest, or every time you see a rapist or a pedophile arrested, an illegal alien murderer arrested, that's a drop in the bucket. We're talking millions. And I did this in my book, Invaded, and I did it in my book, Treason. I lay it out, just a math problem. Look at the statistical, and I'm going off of not my statistics, I'm going off the government, which we all know the government is absolutely honest all the time. By their own admission, they have brought in, under one admission of 7 million people, they identified over 662,000 criminals, 15,000 murders, and over 16,000 sexual assaults, with 11,000 rapists that we allowed into our country. Convicted rapists and convicted murderers. And that's a drop in the bucket, guys. Just a drop in the bucket.
Mm-hmm. When you hear it in those terms, the math, I wish that Tom Homan, I wish his team would do a better job, in front of these congressional hearings, being able to put up the math and just lay it out just like you did. Because I don't know that President Trump, I don't know. I don't know if they know that these numbers are as bad as they are and how long it will take 100 years.
They know they got elected on this. So, why is he not getting the full military support? I would like to see that.
And if I could take 1 minute just to say one other thing. We now just had RFK Jr. give testimony in front of not testimony, but made an announcement in front of Donald Trump during his cabinet meeting, and then today gave a sworn testimony that HHS under Javier Becerra and the Biden administration were the main collaborators in putting children into forced sexual slavery in America. And no one says a word. And where in the hell is the task force to go locate? And RFK Jr. said today, thank God, he's finally said what I've been saying for years. Clayton, you can vouch for this. I said it's not 320,000. How many times did you hear me say that, Clayton? It's not 320,000. It's over 500,000. And RFK Jr. today said exactly what I've said. He goes, it's not 320,000. The Biden administration has sexually mutilated and destroyed children and put them into slavery at least 500,000. And no one says anything. Where's the task force to get these? We just now, Tom Homan and DHS said, well, they found 5,000 of these children. Wait a minute. Where's the pictures? I want to see the pictures, because I don't believe anybody. And come back. If it's 5,000, great. I applaud you for that. You're still missing at least 495,000 of them. Where the hell are the children? Is that not a priority? How can that not be a priority, guys? How can it not?
No, because you have all these activists who are in Congress and the blue-haired ladies who want to just pressure RFK Jr. about Fruit Loops and are upset that they're going to take away her Fruit Loops. Like, that's more concerning. That's more concerning to these members of Congress. Or, you have like Representative Dingell just asleep in the middle of a congressional hearing yesterday. Like, they don't care. They don't care because it's all orchestrated. So it requires you and me, and it requires us, and those watching right now, to demand that we go and find these children and that we stand up and give Tom Homan the resources that he needs. Because when he's out there at these ICE detention centers, now you have these liberal activists who are standing in front trying to block them. I mean, imagine that. You've seen the videos. Like, at these detention centers, at ICE detention centers, there's liberal activists with blue hair out there saying how horrible it is and you're all xenophobes and you're bad. So, but JJ, you're a bad person.
Yeah, but you know why that's allowed, why that keeps growing? Because when you had Congresswoman, that obese woman, punching an ICE officer in the back and his head. Why was she not arrested? The reason why we're seeing this lawlessness is because we have this inability as the Department of Justice, this complete cowardness to arrest people when they commit crimes. When you don't arrest people that commit crimes, the other criminals go, well, hell, I'll do that too. So we went from 4 or 5 of the stupid Democrats protesting and one being arrested, and then the other one see the other 3 savages don't get arrested. Well, hell, I'll go down there. Now I got 50 people. Now I got 100. Now I got 1,000. All because, for whatever reason, and I don't know why, law enforcement has become impotent. We have been so brutalized from the Ferguson effect to Black Lives Matter and George Floyd that no one wants to do the job. What happened with those Congress people punching law enforcement? Dear God, if I was in charge and I was the watch commander or the deputy patrol agent in charge of that station, I would have been standing there going, arrest that person, arrest that person. Where was the leadership? Where was the damn leadership in law enforcement? It's gone. It's shocking. I talk to all of my friends that are in law enforcement, all my friends that are retired. We're dismayed, and we're frustrated, and we're embarrassed at the way law enforcement handles themselves today. And I'm telling you, all the audience watching, I know you have an amazing, huge audience. You need to be prepared. There's no one coming to help you. And the ones that are going to come help you are so few and far between. They're not guys like me. They're not. They're guys that are scared to death to do their job, and you can watch video after video after video of police ceding ground instead of moving forward and taking care of business. We live in a lawless society. I hate to say that out loud, but it is. It's you can't look at what's happening in America and say everything's okay, because it's not, Clayton.
Yeah. 3 months of President Trump is not going to change all of this overnight.
No.
And especially when you have these factions inside the government, inside the Republican Party, people like Greg Abbott, who are still allowing these massive facilities inside of Texas that have all of these illegal children that are just being held there. We know where a lot of these children are in Texas. And what is Greg Abbott doing about it? Nothing. So you have these factions that are standing up and fighting for it, and then you have those who are getting in the way of it. J.J. Carroll, great to see you as always. I should mention the book once again. People need to go read this book. You want to understand how this was all facilitated by the Biden administration, called treason. The Biden administration's strategic and malicious destruction of America's sovereignty. Check it out. JJ, great to see you as always. I hope Tom Homan and his team are paying attention to this. Thanks, JJ.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.